Welcome to the show here in the Crash Out League Network. Let's go ahead and introduce everybody here who's going to be a part of that. Here we go. It's your boy Anthony, and I'm with my co-host.
It's Money Manny, man, in the cut here once again. Y'all thought you got rid of me. You're never getting
Thought
rid of
so.
me. I'm back in the league now as an analyst, so everybody's getting it. I promise you, everybody's getting it. But I'll hold off on the smoke for now. We'll hop into the show. Y'all get it later.
Y'all heard it here first. You go hear from him all season long, all for the rest of the year. Manny is back. He's bigger, he's better, and he's ready to go ahead and mouth off to you guys. So today
Yep,
we're gonna start off talking about last season. Let's
let's
go
do it.
ahead and dive right into it. So the 2023 Crash Out League season. If people don't know about it, that's listening right now, the Crash Out League is a 10-man league where we draft players every year, get a new set of players. Sometimes have new organizations come to the league and participate into it. This league is like no other. You never know what could happen in the Crash Out League. Anything could be determined just by a simplest move of just picking somebody up for free agency. Speaking of the 2023 season, somebody being picked up that was huge, that helped the team go all the way to the championship, Puka Nuka. He was
Yep.
picked up. He was picked up by the organization called the Alchemist, who ended up going all the way to the championship
Yeah, made
game
to the tip. Yep.
and losing to Mills Mafia. But before losing to Mills Mafia, the organization was dominant. And why was that? A big piece was Puka Nuka, somebody who
Yep.
was in the
Big
portal
pickup.
and was a big pickup that nobody knew about. Because I mean, how could you? He was a rookie.
Right. It was a shot in the dark. You just hoped he was gonna materialize into something. Sure enough, he did. Yeah.
He definitely did. But that's just another thing that just happens here in the Crash Out League. You just never know. But speaking of the champion, Mills Mafia, previous season he ended up having a good run towards the end of the season. They carried on in the playoffs, and big pieces that he had that helped him do that was CMC and Josh
Yep.
Allen. You
Oh
had
yeah.
the two combo, Mr. Captain America and Iron Man, if you will. You
Basically.
know,
Yeah.
they carried his team all the way to the ship, and he was able to finish it right then and now. Do we think Mills Mafia could pull it all out again and have the same type of strategic drive that he did last season to help him get this far?
Hell no. He's not getting there. No, I don't think he has the same fire. I don't think he has the same passion. I think he's gonna be complacent. We're getting a win, and he's all season. Trust me. I know I'll hear it. I know I'll hear about it from y'all. I know I'll hear about it from people. But he's gonna be like, man. Well, last year I won. Yeah. Well, we're in this year. You see what I mean? We're here. Gotta stop living in the
Okay,
past. So, but
okay.
no, I
So
don't think so. I think there's a lot of change up that happened in the league. You talk about Josh Allen. Josh Allen doesn't have his main target anymore. There's no
mm-hmm,
more Stephon Diggs in Buffalo. So
mm-hmm.
he's gonna. I think he really drops off. He is a great quarterback, but do you have the weapons? And at this point, the answer is no. You don't have the
Mm,
weapons. So
okay.
uh, at the same time, that last draft, he was drafting from position number 9. And now he's
Mm,
drafting all the way, or sorry, position number 2. He took the second pick in the draft. Now he's coming all the way back to 10. So, I think that is going to shake something up. That's going to take away some big time hitters that he's looking for. CMC was sitting there at number 2. He ended up taking him. So I think this is going to be a much different draft. He's definitely going to have to switch up the strategy.
so what you're saying is you think that he will have a similar type of second season like Smooth Criminal did after the first season in the Crash Out League, winning the whole thing and then having to go back to the 10th spot and ended up having one of the biggest fallouts in this league, going from a champion to fight it in the toilet bowl.
Smooth Criminal was interesting. Smooth Criminal was interesting because again, I think we see that again. You go from the top spot, you're picking, you're like, man, this person is a certified hitter. I'm getting at least 25 to 30 every single week. And sure enough, that's what your number one pick should be doing. If you don't have that, now barring injuries and things like that happen, you can't control that. But if you have a player that plays every single week and is not giving you that many points, and you pick from number 1 to number 3, then you have drastically messed up your draft. But I think it's a classic case. We have yet to see somebody go from being a really high pick to then winning the whole thing. Congratulations. Now here comes the next season. Now your draft is completely changed. And I don't think we've seen people adapt just quite yet.
Understandable, quite understandable. Now, speaking of players who may or may not be able to help Mills Mafia repeat,
Yeah.
let's go ahead and dive into the second year players. Rookies who
Love
are
it.
no longer rookies, they are officially in
Yep.
their second year. Let's go ahead and dive into the type of players that maybe Coach Barlow should keep his eye out for to add to his roster so he can repeat.
Right. Right. Yeah.
So,
I'm gonna have to go. I've been real high on this guy for a real long time. I'm gonna go Jahmyr Gibbs. See, here's the biggest reason why I'm gonna go Jahmyr Gibbs out of the University of Alabama. Now with the Detroit Lions, last year you can argue that for a good chunk of the season, I wouldn't say a half, but I'd say for a very good chunk of the season, he was not the featured back in that backfield. He was the number 2. Understandably, you're a rookie. They did draft you pretty high. They don't want you to get hurt, but they're still trying to use you, things like that. Well, mind you, he finished the season with 945 rushing yards. Rushing yards only. He was almost at 1,000 yards without being utilized to his full potential. Yeah. Let me go ahead and see that man as the featured back now for a revamped Lions team who just made it to the NFC Championship game. They're here, they're ready to play, and they've got Dan Campbell, who I am very high on. I think he's one of the greatest coaches right now in the NFL. The way he rallies his guys, he's just somebody that you want to play for. He had 52 catches out of the backfield, did Jahmyr Gibbs. That's going to be something that's huge if he becomes a real threat in the passing specter of things. Now, the biggest thing that I'd say is a blunder to Jahmyr Gibbs' resume right now is that, as it's reported by CBS Sports, the Lions have the 11th hardest schedule in the league. That's not the best thing to go off when you have a running back. Now, mind you, is his division very strong? Not necessarily. I mean, you have a Bears team who's trying to, kind of figure things out. They're going to try to get back into it. They've got a bunch of new players, so they're going to try to meld really well. They have the Packers, but the Packers themselves, I want to say, have the 4th hardest schedule in the league according to CBS Sports. So that is going to be an extremely difficult season. People can get banged up here and there. That might give them an opportunity for the Lions to steal a win in Green Bay. So I still like Jahmyr Gibbs, but that's the only thing I'm worried about is that 11th strength of schedule in the league.
okay, it's a hell of a player to everybody should be paying attention to as a second
Yeah,
year
definitely.
NFL player. I'm gonna go same position, but I'm gonna go with
Okay.
the other guy that was highly talked about coming out the same draft as Jamil Gibbs. I'm gonna go with Bijan Robinson. Now,
Got to, yeah.
I know we're all the experts who are expert fantasy drafters, organization coaches. I know what they might be thinking. They might be a little hesitant about Bijan as an RB1. As I was going through the research, ESPN, Yahoo, all the different fantasy networks, they was either listing Bijan one back all the way down to number 6 back, all because based off some particular numbers.
Yeah.
They not trying to take away that he's a hell of a back. Everybody
Right.
knows that. But when
Yeah.
we talk about fantasy, fantasy is different than what actual numbers he's putting up in the league, especially in the PPR league.
Right. Right. Exactly.
Some numbers that I could mention. He finished 14th overall in PPR for running backs. He finished 16th in points per game for running back. So with those two numbers right there, that's like So you telling me there's 15, arguably 10 backs that's better in the PPR league that I should pick instead of wasting my pick on him in the first round. But I'm here to tell you guys, Bijan is in a perfect position to blow this season. He just got him a veteran quarterback and Kirk Cousins coming over in a new offense with a whole new coaching staff.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And one of the big things that the new head coach was bringing up was we gonna run this offense through Bijan.
Yeah.
We have to get this. We have to get the ball to Bijan Robinson. That is the course of action for our offense. So hearing that should excite and go ahead and lower all those doubts for all of you fantasy drafters out there. If you think that Bijan is worth being picked up in the first round, I say go ahead and do it. Because me personally, to hear a head coach say I'm running my offense through my second year running back,
right?
I don't got to hear nothing else.
No,
I don't have to hear nothing else. Let's talk about backs that's being ran through. Who's a run first running team who excels based off because they back CMC.
Right.
We all see what the 49ers do. 49ers got hell of a weapons. But what do they do? They run their offense through CMC first, spread it out to everybody second. Kyren Williams, when he's healthy, they run their offense, run first, play action, then they throw the ball.
Yeah.
If you check their numbers, both of those backs ended top 5, top 6 with Kyren Williams missing half the season. So you telling me in a run first efficient offense, 2 backs who finish in the top 6? Yes, I'm drafting Bijan Robinson.
Yeah,
I'm definitely.
I don't think it was ever a question. Are you going to draft Bijan Robinson? I think it's when and where, and I think I'd see if I wanted to swing for the fences, I'd take him first round. If I wanted to swing for the fences and I wanted to really hit this ball, I would go for the first round. If I want to be a little more conservative, I might wait till 2, maybe the beginning of 3, but I don't expect him to go further than the beginning of the 3rd round to keep sliding. I really think he goes in the first, to be completely honest with you. I think he's one of those backs. Kirk Cousins is definitely getting to be an older quarterback. So it is one of those things where you want to hand it off to your running back. You don't want to sit in the pocket all day when you have these 300-pound defensive linemen who are coming to crush your ribs every play. So, yeah, you want to be able to do that. Now, I think they realize Kirk Cousins does not have the same outside weapon that he did last time or at his last team. Who was that? That's Justin Jefferson, arguably the best receiver in the National Football League. So, yes, run the ball through Bijan. Run your offense through Bijan. Now, is it going to be, the spread offense that we're used to seeing him in college and during that first year in the NFL? No, not really. This is going to be more of a power eye. This might be some shotgun plays, but for the most part, if they're going to run him, they're going to run him with some blockers in front of him. And I think that's just going to open up that a lot more. Yeah, like you said, I think the coaching change is the big thing. Arthur Smith constantly, it seemed like he was actively not trying to give Bijan the ball because
trying to get fired.
In fantasy were like, hey, give Bijan the ball. And so at that point, there's not much you can do. Those numbers that you talked about being 15th, being 16th at finishing, I think those numbers skyrocket. I think he jumps probably, I'd like sitting him at 7th, maybe 8th, right around in that range. I don't think he drops 10 spots, but I certainly think he gets a lot more production.
Definitely understand. So you guys heard it here first. Those are 2 great second-year players to keep your eyes on, with plenty more, because last year rookie class was insane. So you guys are going to have to really do your research, sit down. This is not today's the day of the draft. Let me look at the stuff and see what's going on in the league. As you can see,
a week-long prep at least, man. You got to really understand. You got to, we talked about it. Hidden gems are a big thing, and you got to understand there's a lot of hidden gems right now in the league. There's certainly big names, and don't get me wrong, you got to pick up the big names.
Gotcha.
But I think the main thing is who's going to be that one to help you get over the hump. because everybody's going to have a big name. Everybody gets to draft in the first round. Everybody's going to have their hitter. But who's going to be that, 6th round, 5th round guy who is just going to be consistent for you? And so, yeah, it has got to be a week-long prep thing. If you're trying to figure out, if you're really going to try to go for calling yourself a Crash Out League champion or whatever your fantasy league is called, if you want to be called a champion, you definitely got to put in the work.
Yeah, and speaking about going through all the rounds and stuff and making sure you're trying to find those diamonds in the rough and having your guaranteed first round hitter, let's go ahead and dive into our first 4 picks revealed in the lottery draft.
Here we go. Welcome to the draft, folks. Welcome to the draft selection process. So we got 4 teams. We got running back, Smooth Criminal, DMV, and Mo City Menace. The way that we're going to do this is we're going to go from 4 all the way to 1. So if your name is called first, you're understanding that you're picking at number 4. And you're hoping that you don't hear your name called on the number 2 spot. Because, you're just 1 away. But number 2 spot, not too bad. We just saw that Justin ended up winning the league, sitting at the number 2 spot. Let's go ahead and get into it, man. Let's roll the first thing. Here we go.
Rolling the first pick.
Here we go.
The person at the number 4 spot.
Yo. That's where it lands.
Mo City Menace. Coached by no other than Coach Preach. Congratulations, you got the number 4 pick.
Number 4. Stop figuring out your draft now. Here we go. For the 3rd spot. Run it up is the one who takes Coach Jay Gibb. Ends up getting himself the 3rd spot in the draft. We'll see if he goes ahead and takes Patrick Mahomes once again.
And speaking about this particular coach right here, this coach through a couple things that went down here in the league. This coach actually made it into the last 4 in the playoffs. But due to some reasons throughout the league, he ended up coming all the way back up to having a chance to get a lottery pick. So coach basically went from the number 7 pick to the number 3 pick.
Nice jump. That's a very nice jump. We'll take that any day of the week. Congratulations, Coach Jay Gibb and running back.
Like we said, you never know what could happen here in the Crash Out League. Now, let's see who the number 2 pick will go to. They either go to Smooth Criminal or Team DMV Bombers. Here we go.
Come on. And it will be Smooth Criminal. Coach A-Dub has the number 2 spot. So that means that number 1 goes to Coach Matt, the DMV organization. Congratulations to both coaches. Coach, hey, Doug, go ahead and put on your coaching hat right now. How do you feel? Number 2 spot.
I'm grateful. I'm forever grateful. I feel good to have any of those picks. A top 4 pick is a hell of a move to have. It's almost guaranteed to have an S-tier player. And by S-tier player, those are the people who are guaranteed to give you 25 points and more in a fantasy league. We have a lot of high A-tier players that most people mistake for S-tier. But we talking about players who will only probably give you 1 bad game. And that 1 bad game is going to be 13, 14 points. So to be in a position to almost guarantee, as long as I draft correctly, I'll get an S-tier player if I decide to keep that.
No, definitely. It should be a good one. Now at the Crash Out League, you can trade your picks. So you do that with what you will, But coach, you gonna show your cards and let us know who you're thinking about taking, or are you gonna hold those close to your chest?
I think I'm gonna keep that to myself. I will say that I will announce here on the show that I am very much open to trading away the second pick. Just putting it out there, letting everybody know. The only pick that I was guaranteed to keep in this lottery draft was one. I'm willing to trade 2, 3, or 4, and I ended up getting 2. So I'm willing to trade away the number 2 pick. So come talk to me. Let's talk business.
Okay. Okay. Business will be talked about.
So just to go over it once again, the picks 1 through 4, starting at 4, it would be Mo City Menace. At number 3, it would be running back. At number 2, it would be Smooth Criminal. At number 1, it'll be Team DMV Bombs. Congratulations to all the coaches who's hearing this out right now and being positioned where they at. And all I gotta say is good luck to all those coaches.
Here we go. Here we go. Like you said, business can be talked about. So, we might see Preach try to get himself a nice low for number 4. We'll see. We don't even know. Coach Matt could be saying, "Hey, take the number 1 from me, but I got to get a nice return." True. We'll see. We'll see what happens come draft day.
That is true. Now, to go ahead and close it out here, we talking about all the things that the players, the coaches should be watching out for, and we keep hinting that anything can happen in a fantasy league. So, what are a couple, suggestions that you have for the listeners of what it takes to win a fantasy championship league? Because some people just think you can hop off the couch, pick certain players, watch it go week by week, and you're guaranteed to win. So, what are some things that you think can help a person win the championship?
Yeah, I'll think back to this last champion. We obviously heard that Coach Justin, part of Mills Mafia, he was up at like 4 or 3 in the morning, looking at the wire transfers, looking at when free agency became available, who he was going to pick up. So that, in a sense, I think shows you what it takes to try to win this thing. Now, listen, we have 7 veteran organizations in the league. We got 3 rookie organizations. I'll call it right now. I think a veteran organization takes this thing over rookies. I just think it's something you got to understand is everybody in this league are cheaters. You know what I mean? Everybody. There's definite collusion going on. There's definite, I wouldn't let that happen if it was me type, discussions. And so you gotta cancel out the noise, because it will crash out. I'll tell you this. Listen, I was close to crashing out plenty of time. Okay. Manny, I'll give you a bag of potato chips for Justin Jefferson. You're going to make me crash out. You're going to make me crash out. All right. Now, to the advice of the rookie organization, that'd be my advice. Try not to get caught up in the talk, because Preach is going to start pushing your buttons. Mm-hmm. Matt is going to start pushing your buttons. Mm-hmm. And it's just going to be a whole thing. And you just got to sit and be confident in your squad. But because of the mind games, because of Justin's dedication to not caring about his job and playing fantasy instead of getting sleep to go to work, I gotta go with a veteran organization to take this one.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. Anything can happen to Crash Out League, hence the name Crash Out. It's a lot of things that can make you just, take this a little bit too seriously to the point where it consumes you, and then you're willing to crash out about it.
You're willing to crash out.
But we love the passion. We love that type of energy here because it makes the league just that much fun, and it makes our job even more fun when we're reporting about it. So
love to hear it.
We welcome it. Another thing that I suggest to help people win championships in a fantasy league, just be dedicated. Don't go outside of your means. Keep the main thing the main thing. You know, fantasy is fantasy at the end of the day, but when you're playing it, lock in.
Yeah.
You never know what article, what video is going to help you find that diamond in the rough. Um, just like we said with Puka Nuka, everybody found out him by just playing and watching him play. But it's players like Jaden Reed. You got players like Devon Acham. If you just watched a film when they was in college coming out, you could tell they had that type of explosiveness
Yeah.
that's potential enough to be your number two receiver, running back, and potentially coming up the ranks to be your number one option. You know,
Yeah.
so do your
Yeah.
research and keep the main thing the main thing. But that's all the time we have here for the show here
Yes,
today.
sir.
We appreciate everybody who's tuning in right now. Hopefully, you heard something that can help you in your fantasy league, specifically to the ones here in the Crash Out League. Or maybe you just got to laugh or kick out something that we said today. Either way, we appreciate y'all tuning in,
Absolutely.
especially if y'all made it this far
That's
into the
right.
video. You know, so appreciate y'all for joining. Man, anything you want to say, closing remarks?
Hey, man, best for last stuff, man. Make sure you guys, I appreciate y'all coming and watching the last bit of the video, man. Last bit of advice for those, man, really understand who your kicker is. You know what I mean? Really understand who your kicker is, because he can win you the week, and boy, he can lose you the week. Man, oh man. And make sure you have a competent coaching staff that's out there, so that on a 4th and 15, instead of going for it, they kick a 45-yard field goal and it would have won you the week. But instead, man, so understand who your kicker and who your coaching staff is. Man, we appreciate y'all for tuning in. Big time stuff happening. Number 1 episode of the season. We'll make sure to get out a lot more content to you.